Hi, dearest overthinkers. Welcome to episode 4 of the podcast. I know it's been a minute, but we have a really interesting topic to talk about today, which is individuality. So let's get started. What does individuality even mean? According to the Oxford Dictionary, individuality is the quality or character of a particular person or thing that distinguishes them from others of the same kind, especially when strongly marked. Now, why are we discussing it today? Why is it so relevant? And why is it so important in the Big 26? Now, in the day and age of social media, there's an imminent threat to our individuality, especially with the rise of trends dictating how we think, how we want to look, how we want to be perceived. And at this time, it's super duper important for us to understand what distinguishes us as ourselves. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, why did trends and social media have such a huge impact on our individuality? Especially Gen Z. The reason for that is because when COVID hit, we were just emerging into our teen years, or we were newly teenagers. And because of that, we were just figuring out who we were. We didn't even know. We were trying to figure out what worked with us, what opinions we had, what things we liked. And we craved community. We craved a sense of belonging. And because we could not meet our friends, and instead we were isolated, the only manner in which we could connect with others was via a digital interface. And that's what we did. We resorted to what was convenient and what was accessible, and through that we could see via trends what was cool, what was not cool, and hence we developed our opinions. Sooner than later, our dependency on social media to dictate what was relevant, what was not relevant, picked up speed even when COVID ended, even when we were no longer isolated and quarantined, because that sort of became a coping mechanism when we didn't understand how to sit with the discomfort of not knowing who we were and which opinions to have. We no longer, the art of pondering was lost on us. And it could be the simplest thing, and I'm not talking about something deep and meaningful about what our purpose is in life. I'm talking about as simple as, oh, did I like this movie? Oh, what did I think of that character? Something as simple as watching a movie seemed productive because at least your attention span was elongated beyond 30 seconds. So the general sense of community we would find via social interactions we found on social media, and who could blame us? Our For You pages were perfectly curated with our interests. We would find ourselves on book talk, gym talk, food talk, and be part of a community with like-minded people. So our sense of individuality was slowly lost on us because our individuality is characterized by our experiences. It arrives and it's sort of ever evolving, but it's sort of defined by what you agree on, what you disagree on, what you like and what you dislike. And when we become part of these communities, and when the general populace agrees on something, you sort of agree with it as well to be part of that community. Otherwise you're sort of rejected. And the art of thinking about what you actually really like, what you actually think about a subject, was made all the more harder with the rise of AI. The sort of instant satisfaction you would get by using ChatGPT, because once you inserted a prompt you'd get an answer straight away, was the way to go. And so slowly but surely, our sense of individuality, where we would sit down with ourselves and think about what we actually thought on a matter, was lost on us. And I think that showed a lot when Stranger Things season 5 came out, because everyone was so upset about it, because the human mind is so creative. The theories that were coming on TikTok on oh my god, the people on TikTok, Gen Z should have directed season 5 of Stranger Things, because they were so creative with it all. Because all the 4 seasons when AI wasn't there, we sat and thought about, oh my god, this could be the possibility. We like the Easter eggs. We like thinking and, building upon our own theories, that sort of curiosity. That instant gratification when it doesn't exist makes it all the more rewarding when you finally find an answer, or the puzzles sort of fix itself. And when season 5 did not deliver on that matter, although arguably it had a happy ending, it just did not satisfy, because we thought about it for so long. There were so many possibilities, and then you settled on such an easy one. How that instant gratification was weird all of a sudden, because you had waited so many years building on these theories for yourself. And that's why I think it was such a controversial season 5. So what now? Now that we've kind of established that our sense of individuality sort of diminishes because of the following of trends and the following of whatever the masses have agreed on, what do? I think I would just urge everyone to think about what makes them an individual without the social lens, what they really like, what they decide, what they agree on, what they might not even know about, and what they agree on. I think just sort of sitting with that discomfort, and I know it's so much easier said than done, especially in a world that so easily categorizes us as too chalant or doing too much, because what does that even mean in a world where compassion is needed more than ever? Why have we started to romanticize indifference? And human beings have worked towards ridding themselves of these superficial barriers created by um, race, religion, culture, right? And I know in the political state of the world today it's looking really rough, but minorities have fought against this for so many generations, and now we've traded one cage for another, where we've characterized people as uncool or too chalant because of them not following a trend, because of them not fitting into what the general populace has decided as the standard, and everyone's starting to look the same, think the same, and what makes human beings human is like kind of getting lost on us, and it's really unnerving. I know it's all easier said than done, but we have to fight against this, because otherwise we're all turning into clones of one another, where we all think the same, look the same. It's so dystopian, it's so scary, so we must stop. I'm not even joking, like we must stop. A great incentive is to fight against the patriarchy, which has been putting both men and women into boxes for generations, especially women, where the boxes and labels have been set by men's ideals and men's conveniences. So I think Margaret Atwood put it down really well, where she said, "A woman, you are a woman with a man inside watching a woman. You are your own voyeur," because women for generations have appealed to the needs of men, appealed to the conveniences and ideals of them. And finally, in a world where we can decide who we are, what our own interests are, when we no longer are scrutinized to the extent as our ancestors were by the ideals of men, we should take that to stride. We don't have a control of a lot of things in the world, but in our individuality is one of those things we do have control over. So I just think we should all just be urged to question a little bit more, take that sort of extra step to think about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we are agreeing on, whether it's actually what we agree on, not how we want to only be perceived by other people, but actually who we want to embody, because that's so important, especially now in this rise and age of social media and AI. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I know it was quite serious, but there's no better way to start the big 26. But that's all for today, dearest overthinkers. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.